I need to talk about something sexy.
Oh no, we've not finished, Debbie.
Okay.
We wanted this argument about Nottingham Forest.
Happy birthday to you. Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday to
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
dear. And if anybody could sing, it would really help. Cheers.
Cheers. I had to do an up-tempo version, darling, because I sat through the slowest happy birthday with you guys I've ever heard. So I had to get the tempo up.
The momentum. It's Monday.
Thank you for my gorgeous cake, which I was going to show you today, but unfortunately I've eaten it.
Oh no, have you not got a photo of
For
it?
all of it.
But I have got a photo of it, and I shall post that online. But I'm
Thank you
sorry
very
that it
much.
went in my tummy.
Well,
She was
I
a
think
gorgeous
that's
cake.
a
She was
bit
a
much.
dress with a
Good
lipstick.
girl. That's what you should do on your birthday. Inhale the cake.
Absolutely beautiful. I had a fantastic day with my daughters. They brought Soho House to her garden, my eldest daughter's garden.
Oh,
And we had dinner outside, and then they had a pop-up cinema for me, and they made little tickets like that.
wow.
And then we saw my favourite film starting at 9:30 last night. It's a Wonderful Life in the garden with headphones, all snuggled up.
No.
It was just amazing.
Perfect.
Gorgeous.
Perfect.
That's
Perfect.
such a great film as well. Oh,
Yeah. And
amazing.
it's made me feel very powerful this morning, because it's just at the very end of It's a Wonderful Life, isn't it? It's just when you just realise that if you hadn't been around, how different the world would have been. And it just made me feel, and I feel like that about all you girls. Have felt really positive about everything, because it doesn't really matter. We are here now, and it is a wonderful life. And thank God
And
we are
what's the
here.
saying? Every time you hear
A bell ring, an angel gets his wings.
gets his wings. Yeah.
That's right.
Clarence.
Clarence. That's right.
There we go.
How lovely.
Was not Jimmy Stewart the most handsome man when he was young?
Oh,
Gorgeous.
and 6'4", I think he was.
Let's forget about the 6 feet, not talk about the 4 inches.
Before we go any further, please like
Yes.
and subscribe to us on YouTube.
Yes, you didn't want it to get blue, did you, Harriet? So like and follow us on Facebook.
Had to stop you somehow.
Yeah, I know, exactly. And follow us on Twitter. And don't forget to tweet.
And more importantly, please don't forget Instagram. Instagram is the way of the world now, and we all have Instagram.
Anyway,
even children have Instagram.
Sherrie,
So please do
Sherrie,
follow us on Instagram.
Sherrie,
Thank you.
Sherrie.
All
I've
right.
lost my pulse. I've lost my pulse.
Right, competition time. So we have our fantastic competition. You must enter, but in order to enter, you have had to done all those things that we just asked you to do. Now, the Gibbon Bridge Hotel are giving us a midweek romantic break with all meals included and wine.
Yes, the wine from Wines with Stories, which we're inhaling today as a tribute, obviously, to Debbie's birthday, the lovely, lovely Prosecco.
Absolutely. And Sharon Burbridge, who is the psychic extraordinaire,
He's
who's
brilliant.
predicted my future, actually meeting a millionaire and being a trillionaire, is now giving everyone a special reading as part of this amazing competition.
Have you finished, Dee?
Just about.
Coming from you,
No.
That's a little
And
rich.
it's me now. So Harley Street Skin Clinic are having a red carpet facial for anyone, and listen to this, £200 worth of their products they're giving away. I mean, seriously. So you can get that on Instagram. If you go on
Oh, here we go.
Instagram, you can
Stop.
go onto the competition.
Stop
No
it.
problem.
Something's
Stop her.
happened to Sherrie. Can somebody unwind Sherrie? Please.
Or just mute her,
For
darling.
something about today, a Monday.
Oh, no. Why
Yeah.
did you say that?
Ladies, have we
Yes.
got a gift for you?
A
My
gift?
birthday surprise.
Yes.
He is my
Yes.
birthday present, actually, is the gorgeous Patrick Robinson.
Yay!
Are you there? Hello,
There
Patrick.
he is.
Patrick.
Sorry. I was in the dark there.
Oh my goodness.
Hi, darling.
Hello.
Hello.
Were you on the phone to your agent, darling?
Always, always.
There you go, you see.
Always hope for all of us somewhere.
You must be. After that amazing performance,
Thank
actually,
you.
in Sitting in Limbo, I thought that was magnificent, Patrick. But it ripped me to shreds. I thought it was so brilliant, and it must have been an amazing, but very difficult,
Harrowing, I would have thought.
harrowing to play that part. But tell us about that. How was that for you?
When I read the script in September, after the first few pages, I was filling up, and by the end of the script, I was in tears, sort of blubbering and thinking, well, this is really, really important piece to do. And obviously it was literally for my heritage, because it's about a sort of Jamaican essentially, and it's a West Indian tale, but it's a British tale.
Yes.
So I obviously felt that it was a really important story to be told, especially to the British public.
Sure.
So of course I was chuffed to get it, and obviously working on it was really, really heavy. Good. We had a great family. The director was, I felt, right on point, and the cast, the whole crew. It was a great. We're all very proud of it, if you know what I mean.
You should be. You should be.
Oh, you did well. Everyone, the whole production. Right down to the runners and everyone. So we're really proud, and of course, timing wise, it's hit the zeitgeist, as it were. So
unbelievable. Yes.
It speaks for itself. I feel, and
it's beautiful, and your performance is amazing. Your performance.
Thank you.
Can I ask you, darling, how have you been getting on? And I see you're wearing the Acting for Others T-shirt.
Yes.
I'm an ambassador for. The show must go on, because it must go on. Tell me, how have you been doing in lockdown? What else have you been doing? What's happening with you?
I haven't been doing much, actually. Me and my best friend, we've been taking long walks with her dog, and we've just not done much more than what we would do if we weren't working. And I'd say, fortunately for us, we're in South Wales, and basically we live right by the coast, so we see the sea every day, and we walk along the coast in one direction one day, and in the other direction the next. I mean, it's in between Cardiff and Barry, so it's pretty isolating, and you don't see many people, so it's hard. It's not difficult to police, if you know what I mean.
No, but having a horizon always gives one a sense of perspective. Breathing that air, seeing beyond the bubble that we're in, and I think we're often stuck in our houses. I'm in London, so I mean, I know everyone's at the shops today, crazy, but you don't get that sense of perspective of a bigger vista, of a bigger world that we live in. When you have that beautiful view, that must be inspiring.
Well, it's I came down here in 2012 when I went back to Casualty. Because they'd moved the studios to Cardiff. That's when I discovered this part of the world, really, and I knew that I felt I needed to see the sea after living in Stratford-on-Avon, and obviously that's coming from southeast London, where I lived in London, grew up in London. So for me, I wanted to get out the city as soon as I could. So of course, bring the children up in Stratford-on-Avon, 20 odd years. But the next step was for me, I need to see the sea. I need to
feel it.
And it was a way of, fortunately work took me this part of the world, and I sort of did my little self-discoveries of areas and stuff, and I thought, no one can actually absolutely live here, and that's why I've scrambled to try.
Oh, how wonderful.
Do you feel creativity has started in a different sense, that although we're creative, we've had this time now to think about our own creativity and what we can do, and how we sort of work things through emotionally, mentally?
Well, for me, I think this whole situation, circumstances that we're all in, has given everyone time to think about their own state, and hopefully to have one thing that I feel is key. We could talk about the black and white issue, and one thing that I can say to you guys and your viewers is that, I've been an actor over 34 years. And in that time, most in terms of publicity, the one thing that any journalist has to ask me is about being a black man. And the thing is that it's quite, you know, after a while you realize that's all that people see.
Yeah.
You have to explain your experiences of racism all the time when you have any publicity. You've done a good job in a film or in a TV production or a theatre job, and you sit with the journalist, and he's asking you about your past and, you know, this and that to do with the work, and then he says, you know, do you feel that you have trouble with, you know, racism? And I always think to myself, gosh, that's all you guys have seen from the word go. So for me, I am not thinking about that. If you know what I mean, I look in the mirror, I see me. I don't see, oh, black man is there. Ah, you kind of go, no, I see me. You know what I mean? So to me, as far as I'm concerned, and Jane put it really well. She coined it, and I'm going to use it now. It's more to do with empaths, because you have people who are empathetic and people who are not quite as empathetic as others. So you think, well, you get a barometer, you know, a gauge, and you think, well, one end is someone who's seriously empathetic. They feel everyone else's pain everywhere. They watch a program, they're in tears, you know, anything. They read something. And then you get the other side of the spectrum where you could say they're kind of sociopaths and psychopaths because they don't have any feeling for anyone else's emotions. They have none. And I would say that most of the people running this world are non-empaths because all their feelings have gone, essentially, and they don't see people when all they see is figures and profits and that's it, power and control, and that's the key. So, you know, I'll just give one example. One example for me of late is everyone can relate to. I feel is the Dominic Cummings, right? The special advisor to the Prime Minister. Well, of course, he did what he did when he did what he did, but he didn't apologise.
No,
he didn't say sorry. So he's not thinking about anyone else but himself. I'm not apologising to you lot, as far as he's concerned, because why should I apologise to you? Who are you? And that's the point when I say, no, there's empaths and non-empaths. And right now, we're dealing with a lot more people who are empathetic to, let's say, the situation that Black people have been going through for hundreds of years. But there's still some who kind of go, well, I won't, you know, forget them, as it were. So that's how I feel about the whole thing at the moment. And I've always been thinking about that. So, you know, I'm in a state where I'm watching it all now, watching it unfold, where people are saying these things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's getting that heavy. And, you know, we're in isolation. So we go to local shops, hopefully, not sort of supermarkets, so we can give them business, as it were. So in the end, we are sort of nicely isolated and away from it all, looking at the madness that's ensuing all over the world.
That's so brilliantly said. Thank you.
Thank you.
it's really, really important.
Thanks, Patrick.
But Patrick, I now have to challenge you because your cousin is Ian Wright.
It is.
And my cousin is Gary Birtles.
Oh, yes.
Now, I completely believe that Ian played for Nottingham Forest at some time. Now, I don't think he played with Gary, but he certainly was a member of Nottingham Forest.
Oh,
that's what I remember.
Right, okay. Well, I'm not quite sure he played for Nottingham Forest. I have it that obviously he played for Palace, Crystal Palace, Arsenal, West Ham, Celtic and Burnley. So
but he did play for Nottingham Forest. There was a game with Forest and Swindon, and I can remember the players coming up for Swindon, and the players, and right at the bottom, it said right at the bottom.
Oh.
So he did. So you are wrong.
Okay,
but I am right.
Well,
I can't believe we're having a football discussion on
With
Wonderbirds.
Mr. Wright, I am right, Mr.
Maybe he did go to Nottingham Forest on loan. Who knows?
Yeah, you see.
Okay.
Okay. I knew that, but Sherrie didn't know him.
I need to talk about something sexy.
Oh no, we've not finished, Debbie.
Okay.
We wanted this argument about Nottingham Forest.
I'm sorry.
Please stop.
I need to talk, first of all, Pat and I met 20 years ago, in fact, doing a series called Headlights. No, it was Headless, wasn't it? It wasn't Headlights.
Headless.
Headlights.
Headlights.
Yeah, headless.
And it was with you and Ginny Holder, and it was possibly one of the funniest experiences of my life. And that's when I first met you and found out about the Patrick cuddle.
Oh, well, you know, that's what I say is love. You know, you give a hug and the squeeze, that's always love.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
Every morning
That's
on
so
the set,
lovely.
it made an older woman very happy. That's all I can say. But a few years ago, after you'd done Strictly, we were at a ball and you danced with me, Pat, and I honestly have never. You just took me off you just swept me, and I didn't even touch the ground. And I just thought, God, I've always wanted a man to hold me like that.
Oh,
Sorry,
Debbie, well,
sorry,
my
girl.
pleasure.
Wow.
I felt that I'd won Strictly. You just said to me, you just whispered in my ear, just don't do anything, and I didn't.
Yeah,
So we're now in a queue, Pat.
Heaven.
We're
So,
now in a
yes,
queue
you know.
for you to dance with us all, just so you know that. There's a
Okay.
queue. Just say
Yes,
Done.
most
Please.
definitely.
So, you know,
We're
Pat,
here.
thank you, Pat. What's coming up in the future? Do you have any plans?
I do, because obviously thinking about, you know, this, it's not happening for a while. No one's going to want to sit for a good while
Sadly.
in the theatre. Of course, it's going to be very tricky shooting stuff and people maybe doing intimate scenes. It's probably insurance. I'd be got COVID. I'd be taking, you know, all of that's going to be pretty tricky. So, of course, I was working on a one-man show for the last 5-8 years, doing my little thing, kind of, how can I pitch it without thinking, you know, the ego's going, oh, one-man show. I go, no, I've got things I'd like to say about my life. So I'm still doing that, but I feel that because of what's happened in terms of education, I feel that that's the one thing where people say, what can we do? What can we do? I said, educate the children, and they will go through and hopefully have a different perspective of how things are. And if you start now, it will help. So the children are just about born. So in the next few years, when we're teaching them, they will be the ones, I believe, who will create the change in terms of the world. Right now,
I've said that all along.
Yes.
It's education, education, education.
Yeah.
If they
Yeah.
start when they're very young, when they have no prejudices, nothing is in their
well,
head,
you know,
just
racism-
naivety.
yeah, race, it's all learnt behavior. And I feel that that's what is lacking, because when I give examples of, I didn't know about the slave trade until I was 12 and in school and watching Roots. You think, how come we don't, and I didn't get taught any of that in secondary school in Southeast London. All we learnt was, you know, the First World War, Second World War, and the kings and queens of England. And you kind of go, well, where does that feature with black people? How am I here? What happened? And of course, I don't get that history. That recent potted history is important to tell folk now. So of course, my thing, in terms of what I'm planning to do, I'm planning to read stories, you know, like a Jack and Ori thing.
Good.
And I'm going to do it. I'm reading West Indian stories. So in other words, children, whatever age and obviously whatever color and culture, they get stories. And it features people of color. So, but it's the tale, like, you know, practice what you preach is one of the sort of festivals, and it's a nice story. And so
it's like an emotional connection.
Yes,
It's
so
brilliant.
I'm doing that for children. That's what I'm doing, and then I'll probably stretch it out and do some sort of short synopsis of Shakespeare, because I love Shakespeare, and that will be for children and novices to Shakespeare.
Lovely.
So it's like, you know, little sort of bite-sized pieces of stuff that you can get online, of course, where you can just watch for 5 minutes and say, I just want to know the story of Hamlet. I go, right, the story of Hamlet is this. And I'll go,
yes.
And that's what I was saying about creativity. It's all this time that we've been given that gives us the impetus to realize what we can do and how we can change things. And it comes to us.
Well, listen, Pat, when you've got the first few going, come back and see us again, because we'd love to see you.
Okay,
please.
Yeah, and reading the story.
Yeah, reading
Yes.
some stories. Thank you, Pat, so much for joining us. You've been so
Thank
really
you.
interesting.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank
Thank you, Abby.
Thank you.
Bye,
And Ian
darling.
Wright did
Bye.
play for Nottingham Forest. Ian Wright did play for Nottingham Forest.
Let it go, Sherrie.
All right, Derek, yield. Jesus. Come on.
He did play for Nottingham Forest.
Bye. The dog with a bone. She
Wow.
will.
He did go for Nottingham Forest.
I
You were right.
know.
You were right. D.
Oh, lovely
Delightful.
interview. Lovely man.
Can I just say that it's also Hassan Huss's birthday.
Oh.
Now Hassan is one of our digital gurus, and he won Young Entrepreneur of the Year, and it's his birthday. So happy birthday, Hassan.
Birthday, Hassan.
Happy birthday.
Thank you for helping us. Thank you for building us up, as it were.
The mature lady
Exactly.
walking us through. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, Hassan. Now then, what I'd like to say to you is one thing, actually, one thing only, which is, oh, got the wrong way around. Sorry, no, I haven't. Ooh, ooh. Now, what do you think this is?
D.
Ooh.
Not mine.
What are you doing?
So I'm not the only one then.
No,
Oh my goodness. And actually on Wednesday, we're doing a special show and I will tell you exactly how to use it.
I have been using mine on my face. So I am now, so I have not got any
Come in
hair.
closer, please, caller.
You haven't? Oh my goodness, that is so smooth.
Hasn't got any bum fluff at all.
No.
My bum fluff has gone. And
Has gone.
you know who we've got coming on Wednesday?
Who?
Linda Lusardi's coming back.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
To tell us what is in her makeup bag and
Whoa.
to talk to us about all things makeup and fluffy things.
Oh.
Because we've had a really interesting and grown-up conversation today with Patrick. We need to go fluffy again on Wednesday, I think.
We do.
Okay.
But
Absolutely
not
right.
bum fluff, please.
No, not
Not
Okay.
bum fluff.
Oh,
Anyway,
well, I can tell you about that later, bum
Oh,
fluff.
Please do.
Steve.
Please do.
Yes, but
Hassan,
that's later on.
Mute yourselves now. Take
Maybe
us up.
late
Sorry
night.
about that.
Thank you. Happy birthday, Hassan, from us. Shall we all sing it? Shall we sing it out?
Yes.
Happy
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
birthday,
Hassan. Happy birthday to you. That was really good, wasn't it? We'll get a recording contract with that.
Listen, girls, we've got to practice. I'm going to have to do a whole special Zoom with you to get you up to speed.
What with
Sorry,
happy
Hassan.
birthday.
Happy
Yeah,
birthday,
true.
darling.
Bye.
Singing together. Yeah.
Ish.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
I think we've
Goodbye.
stopped now.
Wishing you